Hi, I'm Mal Duffin, one of the co-founders of Out of Tune Games.
Hello, I am Matt McCrum, one of the directors from Out of Tune Games.
My background, I worked many years ago for Sony during the PlayStation 1 era and for Shiny Entertainment out in California as a programmer.
I started off as a physicist, nothing to do with games whatsoever, and I was running around tropical islands looking at stars and telescopes. But as exciting as that sounds, you spend 5% of your time looking at stars and 95% of your time writing long-winded algorithms to go through all the data. So in my spare time, I started making a few mobile games just for a bit of fun, no real design behind it. Made a little bit of money and thought, hey, this making up physics in games is much more fun than actually having to deal with real life physics. So I decided to contact the local funding agency in Northern Ireland, and they put me in touch with Mal, the other director in Out of Tune Games. We met up for a coffee that turned into a pint and decided, hey, we're both musicians. Let's make a company called Out of Tune and make some games.
So one of the unique things about myself and Matt is that we're both creative programmers. When we both started working together on the 6 one-week prototypes, hopefully the prototypes that we created, the range of the prototypes, the different genres they're in, even the art styles, that creativity is something that you don't find very often. And the fact that we're both creative programmers that can get on with each other and work together, I think is quite a unique thing.
Mal's a little older than I am. We're a slightly different generation of gamer. So we grew up playing different games. And it's interesting that when I come at a game design from a sort of more modern standpoint, let's say, and Mal might have a more retro standpoint, and we end up meeting somewhere in the middle, and it's a nice mix. So our first game was very much this sort of chaotic online brawler.
But instead of just it being a straight out brawler, we have a couple of other different layers. We have a worm style layer where you can launch gadgets anywhere in the level. And we also added a physical kind of stacking mechanic. Like if you move left and the stack starts moving left, you have to move right to kind of counterbalance it. But if you move too far right, you have to you either spill stuff or you have to kind of counterbalance. So we created that and put it into early access. We licensed it, we got a bit of funding, and we actually then took a company decision to look back. We had the opportunity to work with some trainees. So we went back and we looked at 2 of the existing titles we had that we really liked from the one-week prototypes.
Supper Witch is the game that I'm currently championing. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to make a god game that's much more personal, whereby there's not hordes of nameless minions running around. With this, you are more of a demon than a god. In fact, you're very much a demon as opposed to a god. And you rely on individual characters, witches, for want of a better word. And they ask you for favors, and you can grant them favors in return for blood and things that you can upgrade your powers with. And so we're trying to get that mischievous sort of sandboxy domino effect style gameplay built into a narrative whereby you're trying to destroy a Puritan settlement from the inside out as a demon whispering in the ears of NPCs. But instead of, like in The Sims, you're trying to keep them happy, in this you're almost trying to keep them in a constant state of despair. So they're asking you for favors in exchange for blood. And instead of a city builder such as Frostpunk, where you're trying to build your city, you're almost starting off with a built settlement and you're trying to break it down. So we've taken a number of genres and we're doing the inverse of them. It's a city builder where you destroy a city. It's a simulation game where you keep your citizens unhappy instead of happy. And it's a god game where you're less of a god and more of a demon.
First-person shooters, it's a very hard genre to enter, especially with a small team. And without having an established IP. We thought, you know what, there's something here in the construction and destruction elements, and with the voxel look, and we've added some other elements like pushing items rather than destroying items. What we think is fairly unique gameplay pillars.